Bet like the pros with the world's largest sportsbook right at your fingertips. The Circa Sports app is now available in Illinois. Sports betting the way it should be. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Circasports.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
And now, Hangar 56 Media presents Spike's Car Radio, a downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
Dear son, happy Festivus? What is Festivus?
It's nothing.
When George was growing up, his father hated all the commercial and religious aspects of Christmas, so he made up his own holiday.
Oh.
Festivus.
Sound check.
I'm singing along with the dictators. It's Festivus, everybody. The Festivus show is here. I'm here with Zuckerman. I'm here with Matt Farah. I'm here with Jonny Lieberman.
Yo.
And we're celebrating Festivus. Also, guess what? I was able to contact Dan O'Keefe and, boy, revelations in this interview coming up a little later about Festivus. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. His dad, who's responsible for Festivus, had two other holidays. In fact, and then he shut down because I knew what was going to happen. He knows what's going to happen. I mean, imagine the inventor of Scientology suddenly says, I have some other religions.
Are you saying L. Ron didn't? He definitely cast a few lines out into the ocean and only caught fish on one.
He was talking to Xenu.
Unbelievable.
2 billion years ago.
But I'm excited about this show. Matt Farah, thanks for joining us
Of
such
course.
short notice. I know you were busy into season 2 of White Lotus. And
It's good.
Zuckerman, I know you were
No spoilers.
nonstop calling Germany to try to get on that 1 million liter fish tank that exploded all over people in the hotel lobby. Did you read about that?
Tonight's special, Fish 2.
The loss of marine life was a funny phrase in that article. The loss of marine
There's
life.
got to be a security camera video, right? Has it come out yet?
It hasn't come out yet.
Oh,
I'm excited about it. But immediately I thought of you, Zuckerman. That's a perfect Zuckerman story.
Yep.
Well,
Everything I like.
Everything you like.
wait, someone died?
Flooding and death.
Germans,
No.
flooding.
There was apparently a huge 2-story tank, and it just
Million liters.
a million liters, and it just gave
But
way.
if no one died, Zuckerman doesn't really care.
No, Zuckerman doesn't.
1,500 fish died, though.
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
But isn't that a good day at the fish market, South Street
I know.
Seaport?
It's a good point. It's a good
Yeah.
Your
point.
kids will never forget. Hey, kids, we're going to the aquarium. They're crying. We don't want to go again. And this happens.
And also, there's nothing more death-ridden than the tropical fish industry because it's like
Here, it's on video now.
Oh.
But
Oh, there is video?
there's a video of it.
Yes.
Of what? Of the fish
Of
tank
the fish
exploding?
tank, yeah.
Whoa.
Go ahead and play it. Hold your mic up to it. Maybe
Someone's
there's a good
about to
sound
get
there.
some revenue share. What do you think the
Aim
CPM
it so we can-
is?
No, it doesn't have.
All right.
What's the CPM on the fish
Nope.
tank?
Yeah,
It
sadly.
won't play?
It won't play.
All right.
But
Well,
it's a
you can look that up
giant
yourself.
Cylindrical thing.
Yeah,
that-
no, I know.
Yeah,
I'm aware.
crazy.
Zuckerman is a little high right now. He had surgery today.
Oh, really? This is a tradition, like Festivus, which comes once a year. I seem to be doing podcasts once a year after surgery. Last year was my back surgery. We did a podcast that night, and today I had knee surgery.
A few hours.
Knee surgery today?
You can't tell?
I've been here for a half hour. He's been walking around. He hasn't said shit.
It was a big success. And he's on oxycodone.
Seriously? Yeah. Oh, they must have given you the good drug.
Oh, and they did. And she said to me, well, we're going to knock you out. I said, is there any way to stretch this out a little while, this process of going to sleep? And she's like, I think I can stretch it out for a minute. You'll really like it. And we had...
Is that true?
Yeah.
You did. So you said you wanted...
I wanted to stretch out this process of of going into the death zone. Wow. I wanted to be high for a little while.
I don't know how I feel about that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Is that cheating? Is that cheating?
Oh, it ain't cheating.
Instead of being like count backwards from 10, count backwards
so what
from
happened?
346.
So they put a little verse set in there, which really makes you feel good. And so then you're like, the beauty of the ceiling tile is what you're appreciating, and all the lights and the operating theater. And then you feel the milk, the Jesus milk coming into you. And then you just float away.
And did you get the milk, the propofol?
Oh yeah, baby.
The milk is the good shit.
The milk is the good shit. I know why he was. I know why that
MJ,
he was into it with good reason. And then you wake up.
I got that shit once, and it was fire,
dude. I woke up in a paper.
What's happening here? It's Festivus, gentlemen. You're talking about horrible drugs.
Drink of
Festivus.
So this was just to get your knee scooped out, right?
And I woke up and I told you I was in a paper gown.
Right.
They make you wear these paper Speedo underwears.
This is a new...
And I wake up and there's a woman in the room. And you know how you wake up, guys? I mean, not like that. Not like you're thinking. I woke up a little disoriented and I was like, where am I? Who am I? And why am I wearing paper? And what are these underwears I got on?
So you didn't go down with the underwears on?
Yeah, I did. But
you did.
You wake up, I was high as a goddamn...
Does anybody want to guess why a guy getting knee surgery needs paper underpants? I have no idea.
I have no idea either. And
did you ask?
I said, "Can I wear my own underwear?" And she says, "We don't allow that anymore." She handed me these paper Speedos. These are your undies, and they were rolled up in a ball like the size of like an ear, spongy ear
throw it
thing.
In water and it goes.
And I.
But don't you suspect it's because of lawyers like you that you can't wear regular underpants anymore? This is some sort of insurance problem?
Well, there could be an infection issue, not because of lawyers like me, but because of dirty-butted people like you and who can't keep themselves clean. But anyway, I had...
what... Is that what you really think? I'm genuinely...
They don't want you bringing
infection.
skid marks into the OR.
Right. And
but a paper-thin piece of paper is not going to do it.
But it doesn't already have poo in it, which your underwear might.
I see. Okay, that's a valid point.
They put me in the room. I got to put on your favorite thing, compressor hose
in the first 4 minutes. I love compression.
Talking over each other.
I know, but feces is very important.
I put on compression hose on one side, then the stupid socks. Then I put on these weird panties, and then she's screaming through the door, make sure the opening's in the back. And then she's screaming, did you tie it? Well, I've never tied a dress around my back. I don't know how to tie this shit. And I said, I can't do it. And she said, okay, fine, come out here. And she had to zip me up in the back, tie me up.
You know how close to the nursing home in New Jersey you are right now, Zuckerman? This whole story is the pre-nursing home story.
And yes. And then they put me in the little...
Oh, it's going to go on.
They put me in the little pre-op place.
He's not still high.
They put me in the little pre-op
place,
and then I can hear all the other people telling bad jokes to the anesthesiologist because they're scared and nervous.
Yep.
And I'm like, listen to those losers telling bad jokes. But then the minute she gets in the room, I'm nervous, so I'm telling bad jokes to her. And then they
It's a marvelous moment, isn't it? I love the humility you feel when you're on stainless steel table and you're looking up going, oh, this is how it's going to end.
Ceiling tiles and lights go by.
I don't know how to articulate this, but you're saying the same thing, Ferrison. I want to go out this way.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, this is how I want to go.
I want to be in my bed surrounded by my dog and
Yes.
any other pets that I
But they'll
have.
bring them to the center. But this way of just...
We talk about cars?
Well, hang on. I just want to say to Dear
Well, we can tell you
Zuckerman-
that I'm not supposed to drive for 48 hours. But I thought-
Okay, I couldn't figure that part out. So I called Zuckerman to check in on him and say, I told Jack right before I go and call him Zuckerman, he's going to be high on drugs. So anything he says, take with a grain of salt. And you said you had just driven home and you were driving around. And here's what I couldn't figure out. How do you get discharged without someone else there?
No. You misunderstood. My son picked me up.
Oh, he did?
Took me
Okay.
to my house where I had my E28 M5 manual transmission. This is my left leg.
Selected for surgery.
Yes, and
You
then,
better be working.
Yes.
yes, and so, and then I stayed home. I came down a little bit.
Not all the way. Some of the way.
Well, as much as you could in an hour, and then I
Went to work.
I went to work.
You're a machine.
I just want to say, if Dear Zuckerman is listening, we're going to need a picture of Paul in paper panties. Post.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
No. That would be bad.
In a gown.
I like the drug face, maybe, with the top of the gown, but Zuckerman in paper panties.
They make you put that little thing on your head. That little
Just in
hair
case you have to
net.
serve at a cafeteria during your procedure.
Oh, and here's what invariably happens. You
Yeah.
get home,
Yep.
you take off your shirt, and you realize they left all those sticker things for your
Yeah.
heart monitor on. You're like, hey, guys, did you need these? Why are these still on me?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of goop on your chest.
Yeah.
You take a shower and then it turns brown.
Yeah.
But you need that goof off.
Yeah, exactly.
Bathe in goo on.
Yeah.
I've never had surgery. I cannot relate.
Oh, my God.
Don't worry, you'll get there quick.
Oh,
Jeez.
Nobody gets out alive.
Yeah.
All right.
man.
Well, you're looking good.
I feel great.
Fucking today. By the way, this story happened today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is today.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
It doesn't look like
Zuckerman
today.
says cars are not heavy machinery. He was not operating any
You don't
heavy
understand,
machinery.
sir. It was a car from the '80s. It was under 3,000 pounds.
It's lightweight, officer.
Technically, super Leggera.
This is fantastic news. Well, there's been a spat, and as listeners like to do, they send it our way. But I had already seen it. A spat of Rolex watch thefts.
Spat or a spate?
A spate?
A spate. Yes, the word is spate.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Is it?
It's definitely spate.
Spat. Two of them of note. Police were called to the area hotel Sunday in Las Vegas after a man, let me get
It is
out,
the Aria.
claimed he was cuddling 33-year-old Sarah Richards as she continually insisted he take off his Rolex while they laid together. The alleged victim told the cops he put the watch under his pillow and continued to drink wine at Richards' request. Drink. Okay, I will. This isn't suspicious at all. But he says when he noticed it missing, she went into a panic and left. Where's my watch? She took off. He says he followed her all the way down to the lobby where he alerted security before PD arrived. According to reports, police couldn't find the Rolex at first, but eventually they did locate it. Anybody know where?
I
boy.
one of two guesses.
I can take a guess.
Man, it wasn't her
In the
butt.
vagina.
Vagina.
Yes.
In her
Bing.
vagina.
Feces and vagina.
The question to you, panel, would you wear that watch again?
Yes.
Why
Yes.
not?
How does acidity affect gold? Was it roll sore?
Yeah. Was it a
That
deep
the
sea?
The oyster case
Submariner?
survived its ordeal.
It's unbelievable. This story. First of all, when I read these stories, of which there were two today, I always root for the women. I love that the women are stealing Rolexes from dumb men.
Dumb.
So there's a woman sitting there, drink more.
Drink
And-
more and take
And
off
you
your
have
watch.
no game.
You have no game.
No woman's ever hit on you
At all. She's staring at you in bed going, take off your Rolex, take it off, and drink more. And you don't know what's up?
It's scratching me.
Oh, my God. Made me
I
so
would.
happy.
I would love to see the closed circuit TV of this. Like,
But it's not just Fort Lauderdale. I mean, not just Vegas. It's also Fort Lauderdale, where a man went home.
Trashiest place in America.
A man went home with two women.
another guy who thinks he's
he
a
left
player.
out. He's gonna score.
I've never got one woman.
Okay,
Here
listen
I
to
have
the
two.
details.
I think I bought this Rolex. It's getting me laid. Yeah.
There's so many red flags here. And woke up alone to find his $25,000 Rolex watch missing. Here's the situation. See if you would have fallen prey to this one. His misfortune began at 3 a.m.
Yes.
Right when things are getting good.
That's when deputies say he met two women outside of the rooftop bar. The man told detectives he exchanged phone numbers with one of the women, and they texted at 4 a.m.
Yeah, our other victim didn't
you
pan
still
out.
up?
Are you still awake?
And I ain't going to sleep for days.
The man told detectives he drove the women to his Lauderdale-by-the-Sea home where he poured them drinks. He never lost sight of his drink while he was with them. So he knows something's up, right?
Yeah.
He's watching his drink, the man told deputies. But somehow fell asleep. And when he woke up, the women were gone. And so was his $25,000 two-tone Submariner with a blue face. That would be what? The white gold blue face
Two-tone.
with a blue dial. What is
I
that?
don't see 25 grand there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
He told the insurance, company it's not my business.
Right.
Okay, this is the action he took, and his American Express Platinum card, which was in his rear pocket. He decided to text the women and ask for his watch and credit card back.
Please.
But guess what? They didn't reply. He then reported the theft to the police 5 p.m. later that day.
I'll sleep this off.
When he explained this somehow to his wife.
Oh, my God.
That or the 6 a.m. shift.
Here's, guys,
isn't
what we
exactly-
need to do, we need to go to Fort Lauderdale. We need to get fake Rolexes and fake credit cards and just be out there like pigeons waiting to get knocked out.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
It's unbelievable and consistent. And the woman, it turns out, one of the women who they're looking for has a scorpion tattoo on her. just not
That sounds like the one from West Hollywood.
really.
Yeah.
Wow.
What? You remember that story from Chiconi's a couple years
She had a
There was
scorpion
tattoo.
They were tattoos, yeah.
left thigh, and the other woman was in a yellow dress. So that's all he really remembers.
Oh, the yellow dress.
They were yellow dress again. She came from
All
that
I
wedding.
remember is they had awesome blow.
Right. I mean, there's an old saying, nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It's,
I'm rooting for all the women. Congratulations stealing these Rolexes.
I mean,
you're doing very well for yourself,
gotta
and
say
I support you.
the first one's much more egregious. Like, if any woman you just met is like, take off your Rolex
in
bed.
Vegas?
Like, I mean,
A woman saying take off your watch.
I've never, ever heard anything like
I've had that happen.
Really?
Yeah, and socks for some.
Socks, for sure.
Take off your socks. But if they say it like that, take off your socks.
Yeah, but a watch?
At least take off your socks.
I'll take off the socks, but the watch is going around my fucking ankle.
I'm very self-conscious about the socks.
Really?
Yeah.
It's warm.
I have a
A
problem.
couple of women said it to me, and it had an effect on me. Like, how bad does that look? And I guess it does look bad, but
It's not good.
It's
not
a
good,
bad
yeah.
look. Yeah,
Not
you
good.
got to take your socks off.
okay, I'm taking them off. Watch would come off too.
that's
Let's
a problem
let's do it.
watching
Let's do a
porn.
commercial. I got to do an ad
fine.
real quick.
Is it for a Rolex store?
Bob's watches.
We could do Bob's watches right now.
We should do Bob's watches.
This is where.
Do you want me to?
You should look for your two-tone Submariners.
I wasn't expecting to do Bob's watches, but I'll do Bob's watches. That's a good idea. I wasn't even going to read the ads tonight, but I'll read them. Discover Bob's watches in your vagina. The most trusted destination to buy or sell 100% authentic luxury pre-owned watches for 12 years and counting. I'm sure you're familiar with our friends at Bob's Watches by now. So here's some exciting news to share. For the first time ever, Carol Altieri, co-founder and CEO of Bob's Watches, is releasing an exclusive retail partnership with Gwyneth Paltrow's lifestyle brand, Goop, to showcase a 14-watch collection of rare Rolex Stella and specialty dial watches. She also has a candle that smells like her vagina, coincidentally. This is a perfect time to do this ad.
This is it.
Smells like my vagina, right? That's what it's called. No joke. No joke. Perfect for one-of-a-kind holiday gift collection highlights, including
Sort of a
white,
joke.
gold, and green diamond set Stella dial that's simply stunning, and a striking onyx dial Rolex Date 8. They're at the Brentwood Country Mart, too, that Goop, so go check them out. These are available for a limited time only. Shop now at bobswatches.com/Stella before they're gone, or go to bobswatches.com/Spike to see my picks. I need a tissue, Zuckerman. I'm laughing too hard.
I was just thinking, though. I was just thinking real quick.
Is that a fresh one? Hold on.
No.
Did I grab one?
Back to the 3 a.m. lady. How
should
did
talk-
the police eventually get the watch out?
Cavity search, dude.
Yeah.
guess so.
I guess
Jesus.
they did.
Ugh.
But that's, look, I mean, I don't think she would have to submit to that, would she?
That's where I keep my watch, officer.
I guess
that's how I tell the time.
If you're under arrest,
the police get away with a lot, but are you?
I don't know.
If it's not on you?
That's a Zuckerman question.
Let's assume she knows the law.
Yeah.
Whether or not.
Let's go.
Wow.
I almost bought, speaking of those fun dials, Bob's had one of those beach dial Daytonas. Have you seen the beach Daytonas?
No.
There are these sort of pastel kind of like Stella dial Daytonas, and they have a green, a blue, a pink, and like a yellow.
Oh, yeah.
They have the green one.
Yeah.
Real cool.
Wow. A lot of electric cars out front.
Yes,
we drove
there
here.
are.
Coincidentally,
Yes.
I have the
Press
Tesla
cars.
Model X Plaid. Almost killed some folks and a possum on the way here. and in no exaggeration, the two guys just dashed in front of me. I don't know what they were up to, but it looked like they had just robbed a 7-Eleven mid-block, and I caught them on the right side of the bumper. Imagine that. Like, it was frightening. And then
Were you full self-driving?
No. I was driving. I love driving this
That's
thing.
how you know it's because they didn't get hit. That's how you know he was driving himself.
No, I think if I had been in a car, it would have been moving a little more slowly than I was doing it. It's blindingly fast. And I don't want to get in a big yoke argument, but I do have a lot of experience with the yoke right now, and it's been really fun. It takes a day or two to get used to, for sure. You're now pressing things with your thumb. The directionals and the horn is kind of up here.
For the record, I'm sitting between Spike and Matt.
Nobody wants to hear Matt and I argue about it.
Just for officer, for the record.
Doug DeMuro, if you want to get a pretty accurate take on the yoke, watch Doug. He's like me. It's like it's overblown. It's kind of a wheel. It works. It's fine. But it does, I will tell you, it does take some getting used to. And you were right about one thing. The first time you're using it in a parking garage, you'll slip it right out of your hand. But that learning takes 24 hours. And then, and I say this a lot, I'm speaking for me, I love to learn new things. It reminds me of the Carrera GT, learning how to drive something new. And now I love the yoke, but not in the Model X for me. This car is so fast, I just don't know who's going to buy it. Like, my wife wouldn't drive it. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Who wants an SUV? It's the world's fastest SUV, right? So 0-62.4. But what soccer mom is going to do that? Right? So is it just
dumb
the dads?
People buy it. It's for dumb people.
I
mean, that's the answer. It's for very dumb people.
No, it's an incredible new thing, and it's really fun.
It's not new.
And I'll tell you,
it's been out for years.
Ding, 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 ding to your corners.
The Model X Plaid has not been out for years.
It's been out for it's been out for about a year.
Right, but like, it's other than being faster and having like a yoke.
Yes, it does nothing else new. Yeah, it's from 2015. Yes.
Yeah, everything else is 7 years old.
No, the doors are great. The doors close.
They're 7 years old.
They're amazing. The whole thing is an amazing thing. I've not driven anything like this ever.
Okay,
I like it.
Well,
I don't want to start
You
arguing.
can get press cars from Tesla. That's what I'm impressed by.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You're the only one on the planet.
Franz von Holzhausen, who, as you know, I would like to run the company. I want them, and look at this. I think we talked about it not long ago here on the show. Well, the third biggest Tesla stock owner has said Elon has to go. Elon Musk has to go. Kokuan Leo, who owns $3.4 billion worth of Tesla shares,
cut that in half,
is finally done with him, and I think that's what needs to happen to save this company.
But remember, though, he's the CEO. He's at the whim of the board of directors, the way Putin's at the whim of the Russian parliament.
He's probably got all the preferred stuff.
But Musk installed a board of directors that will never get rid of him.
He sold a lot this week.
Yeah.
He sold a lot to keep Twitter afloat.
And soon he's going to be like Sly Stallone, living in a van somewhere, and I can't wait for that.
This guy is crashing and burning, and I guess the core of my
watch, isn't it?
Sly Stone.
The core of my message is I'd like Tesla to be saved. I really have a lot of hope for the company, and I love the product, and I love the thing that I'm driving right now. And it would be great if a maniac was not at the helm of it, right? And that's where I can kind of meet you, Matt, in middle ground, and all the hyping and lying.
The only way to get him out is the board of directors to fire him, and they'll never. He put in a friendly board. They'll never. It's like secession.
We've lived in a world of nevers.
That's true.
But after 2020, I believe everything can be done.
Sure.
But we've seen a lot in the last few
I believe in the
years.
multiverse. We're just in the shitty one with Trump and Elon Musk running the world, So
Yeah, anyway. What were the other electric cars that we have here?
got some Mercedes.
You
I
came...
have the EQE AMG Mercedes. I've only driven it from my house to here.
Oh, you have the AMG version?
AMG
Oh, I haven't driven that.
EQE,
Oh, cool.
Which I
That is the one I had.
I've
right?
just...
No, you had the...
It wasn't this one, because this one has 300 miles on it.
You had
Probably
the
wasn't.
regular EQE, not the...
No, I had the AMG.
You had the AMG EQS, which I have now, but a different one than you had.
So
the EQE is...
it's the smaller one.
E-Class
It's
size.
the same
Got
basic formula. It's just a little smaller, a little lighter. And I've driven it literally for 20 minutes, so I don't have too much to say about it. It's a nightclub. The lights, the interior lights are like insane.
Yes.
There's all this stuff about air quality. And
Yes, there is. There's a lot of fart control
there's a ton
metrics
of
in
that
there, which
kind
I
of stuff.
appreciate.
That's why there's no frunk. That's their excuse. Is that it has Beijing level, bio cleaning.
But I mean, so far it's like ridiculously complicated in a way I don't find to be particularly desirable, but it's also very nice.
It drives like a Mercedes.
It does drive like a Mercedes.
quiet.
The turning radius is comical.
It's a forklift.
How good it is.
Yeah.
Like it can make a U-turn in like a single lane of cars.
Right. Johnny, what do you have?
I have the AMG EQS, so I have the larger version of Matt's car, and it's the one you had that you took to Palm Springs. And
do we like these things?
I
love
really
them.
do. Yeah,
I really like them.
Here's what I'm digging about it. It's been not Midwest cold, but it's been in the 40s at night. They dropped it off with 90% battery. I've gone to Beverly Hills and back. I did some other driving around. I drove here. I'm still over 70% battery, and it's telling me that the battery temp. And I was telling Matt, what I like is you can do a deep dive on everything. The screens are wild, so you can see the amps each motor is producing and using. You can it shows you the battery temperature. So it's at 57 degrees, and you could, if you wanted to, you could say heat up the battery. Meaning, if you're going to park it for a while, it'll keep the battery hot, because that's what people, they're like, oh, these EVs don't work in cold weather. What it is it's if you let the battery drop to zero and then you start driving, to heat the battery up to operating temperature, that sucks half the range away, is heating the battery. Now, if you leave it plugged in, it won't do that. So you just, it doesn't really, cold doesn't really affect it that much. And so you can, it's cool on the Mercedes, you can say heat the battery, and it'll keep it at a temperature so you're not getting this, wasting range.
The tennis pros in La Quinta were telling me the extreme heat was just ruining batteries.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. It's the extreme. Any kind of extreme elements are not great for batteries.
Right.
Yeah.
So you lose range both ends, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I thought that Mercedes range was more authentic than the Tesla Model Y range.
That's the greatest thing about the Mercedes. They look weird because they're so aerodynamic. That's the biggest hit when you're doing steady state freeway driving. Its aerodynamics are everything, and because this literally is a 0.2 drag coefficient.
I think it's the most aerodynamic car ever, right?
It beat the Lucid by like 0.00.
We're at 0.02 zeros. It's like that.
Yeah, and
but there's also different ways to calculate range. Like there's 3 different EPA methods, right? And so Porsche famously advertises a range that is well below what you can actually do in the car. Porsche says 205 when I've gone out and physically done 310 without trying, right? And then so Porsche's on the super conservative method. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, Mercedes, Audi, they're all kind of in the middle one, and then Tesla uses the most optimistic one.
Well, I would put Mercedes more in line with the Porsche, and that has more to do with the Germans. They're calculating the range for the European cycle, and then when that's translated to the U.S. cycle, the ranges come in low because with the non-AMG, I haven't really measured this one, but with the regular EQS, it says you have 380 miles, and I was getting 425 without trying.
Yeah, I have, for the record, I have absolutely no idea what the EQE will do. I've driven it 8 miles.
Yeah,
here,
it's impressive.
Without drilling too much down on it, you just get a sense of it. If you're driving an electric car, you kind of know, hey, am I charging this thing too much?
Yeah,
and I have that with the Y, and I sense the batteries are just getting old, or maybe we charged 100% too many months in a
you
row.
can't do that. Yeah, don't ever do that.
Now that I have
like
the
to do
level
it.
2 charger at my house, I make sure to let the Mach-E get down to like 15 or 20 before I charge
right.
it, and I end up only charging it like once a week.
Right.
Which is actually
Right.
kind of nice.
That's
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do. Yeah. So the best, like on the Rivian, for instance, what they recommend is it has a setting for 70%. So you charge to 70. That's 200 miles of range. Run it down to 20 or below. Plug it in. And then just bounce between 20 and 70, and that's optimum. And then if you need 85 or 100, then you just do that.
The last 3 days I spent breaking in my Boxster engine.
Oh, yeah,
I
how's
did
the Boxster?
1,300 miles.
And
It's so awesome.
Is it?
This motor is rowdy. It's great. Yeah, it's great.
What is the break-in for? I'm sorry.
So I bought this
put
car.
you down.
I bought this car. I sent it straight from the dealer to Demand Motorsports in New York. They take the motor out. They bore it, stroke it, re-sleeve it, use a bunch of race car shit. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a 4.5 liter motor.
Holy moly.
That makes 565 horsepower and 450 pounds of torque. Then they re-gear the gearbox so it's second through fifth are shorter and first and sixth are standard.
Really?
And I then got a set of OEM ceramic brakes because they canceled that for 2022. So I was able to get a set from Porsche and put those on.
And what's the break-in for this motor?
The break-in, according to Rick, it's slightly different than it's a little more aggressive than Porsche's break-in. Porsche's break-in is don't rev the engine over 6 for 1,000 miles.
Right.
And then have at it. That's Porsche's.
And this one?
This one, don't rev it over 6 and no full throttle for about 800-900 miles. Then from like 800-900 to 1,500, you can go full throttle in the lower 3 gears, but don't go near red line. So shift at 7 and no high load full throttle. So don't go flat in the top gears. And then an oil change at 1,500, and then you can let it rip, but like no track days, and then another oil change at 3,000, and then you're good to go.
Oh, they're really,
Wow, they really-
taking
And this is like, this is to maximize longevity. This is what he recommends if you want this engine to be as reliable as a factory Porsche engine.
Will you be able to do
And
it?
puts them straight into race cars, and they go racing with them right away.
And then tear them down.
And then tear them down every 15,000 race miles.
Tell me something. Would a civilian know that they're in some hyped up car, or would it be as easy to drive and tractable as
other than the fact
the real
that it
thing?
has a slightly heavier clutch. So the clutch that's in it resembles the GT2 RS clutch 997.
Right.
It's pretty heavy. The clutch resembles that. Everything else, especially if you have the exhaust in quiet, you'd never know what you were in.
Can you do
Except
a quick?
it's really fast.
Can you do a quick comparo between the GT4 RS and your car?
Yeah. GT4 RS, everything about that car that's special happens from 6 to 9,000 RPM. My car has a much lower power and torque band. My car makes more power at the wheels than that makes at the crank, peak, but it makes that 1,500 RPM lower. So my car has peak power at 7,500, red line at 8. The RS goes to 9.
And what's the torque on your car?
450. It's a shitload.
Because I've driven the Shark Works where they do like 480, and it's just like it's like having a Z06 motor.
It's got a ton of
it's
power
awesome.
and a ton of
And it
torque
weighs
and a really
nothing.
wide torque band. If you're going to be on the track all the time, you want the RS. No question. You want the RS. If for a street car, this thing flies.
and
It's
also
so
the
fast.
Spider's not for the track, so it's
And
perfect.
it's stick,
yeah.
and the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
suspension's a little more compliant. I have comfort seats, that kind of stuff.
So if you were just a regular guy ordering this package, what would it cost you?
$45,000 for the engine and $15,000 for the gearbox.
$60,000. And where does that bring you in relation to a GT4 RS?
This is faster than a G. Oh,
No, but price-wise, yeah.
Price.
Oh, it's cheaper.
Still,
Car's
really?
$120,000. plus
wow.
60. You know, you're in it under most GT3 4 RS.
And also, don't forget
prices,
the dealer markup, which seems to be
especially if
mandatory.
you
So
include markup.
$300,000 for an RS.
Yeah. And they can put this motor in a Cayman or Boxster GTS.
Right.
So you could have a real sleeper.
It's time to talk about Gerber Life. I wonder who in our audience doesn't have life insurance and why. If you're listening to this Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance sponsorship ad, there's a good chance that you're alive. And if you're not, well, this may not be of interest to you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Life insurance. I'm going to live forever. Death is what happens to other people. Well, for the sake of argument, let's assume you're wrong and that someday you won't be listening to any podcasts anymore. I know it's not easy for you to talk about, so I'll do the talking. If you're 50 plus and alive, or 50 to 75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. And since this life insurance is guaranteed, you don't have to get a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out the health questionnaire. For a free quote, just visit GerberLifeFamily.com. Then when you stop, if you stop listening to podcasts, your family can use the insurance money to help cover your final expenses or anything else. Your kids already inherited your ears, allergies, and questionable singing voice. Don't make them inherit your final expenses tab too. See website for terms and restrictions. All right, gentlemen. We got a big Festivus show. Danny O'Keefe will be, or Dan, now that he's grown up, is Dan O'Keefe.
Oh.
We'll be talking to him, too, about the origins, about some of the pain and suffering. What happened with the Seinfeld staff and how it even came to be, Festivus. We will have feats of strength, I believe. Johnny's going to do something.
Try.
I won't blow it.
Try.
We have a Festivus poll right out there. We had a Festivus dinner, thanks to Zuckerman, and perhaps there'll be a Festivus miracle. Oh, the airing of grievances. We'll have to air some grievances.
I think you want me to tell you what I hate about you guys.
Yeah,
Please.
Not yet. We're not there yet. We have more car talk here. I don't know if you guys are... Well, I had a question for you, Zuckerman, that's kind of off topic, but I think interesting. I keep reading about the crypto crash and how celebrities are going to be held liable for shilling folks like Tom Brady and Larry David in TV commercials. They did Super Bowl commercials last year at this time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk about them getting sued if perhaps, and I haven't been following it that closely, already named in lawsuits.
They are.
But explain that to me. If somebody does a commercial, right, and you sign a release with a production company and or a business, aren't they insulated?
I personally believe the law will eventually be on the side of Larry David and Tom Brady. They're allowed to be pitchmen and engage in what's known as puffery. Certainly...
is that really a technical term?
That's the technical term,
yeah.
and that's in lots of law books.
Saying, like, this is the best hard cider I've ever done.
That's a great new name for this podcast.
Puffery. And so every
car puffery.
And that's why you got caveat emptor, but it gets kind of borderline, particularly in this society now where we believe anything we hear, and we don't engage in any true independent thought about this. And if Larry David or Tom Brady, who might be billionaires, say, buy this shit, you'll be like me, and whether it's tongue-in-cheek the way that Larry did it or more serious the way Tom did it, I can see the legal argument to be made that they were part of a criminal enterprise, albeit totally unwittingly.
But if I produce content, if I'm producing something, I can't imagine a world where any of my actors would have any liability, any exposure in any way. I'm hiring them. And I'm telling them what to say.
Right, and it goes back to the notion of if you're going to be a pitchman, you really should stand behind your product, right? Like, right. You're not going to tell, you're not going to get on TV and try to shill some, crack cocaine. You don't want to be associated with that product.
The Larry commercial was very funny. It was about all the mistakes he makes, and he doesn't know what it is.
Except for this one. And
right. And then it became reality.
Traditionally.
and he's going to turn, it'll be on the next season of Curb.
Right.
It's going to be great.
So traditionally smart celebrities stayed away from certain products, beer, booze, you name it. And now they're turned on to the fact that money products, fake money products may not be so great to be pitchmen for.
Didn't you famously once say you can put anything in the first round of a lawsuit?
Oh, yeah.
The Blue Jays are responsible.
It doesn't.
Right? You can say you can make any claim.
It's an overstatement. You can't, but you can.
What?
It's a slight overstatement. You can't make, but in a lawsuit, 99% goes. You can say almost anything as long as it's not extortionate. So you can really, I could file a lawsuit that says I'm divorcing you. I don't think that I'd be subject to any criminal liability. I could write file a lawsuit that says, you're pregnant with a child. I don't think I have, lawsuits protect. So yes, these lawsuits can be filed and then we can have a court, whether it's the California Supreme Court or the U.S. Supreme Court or some court of appeals, opine whether this is actionable, and I think the answer will be it's not actionable.
Opine. See, when you get him talking about what he's good at,
it's great.
There's no feces, there's no Holocaust.
Can you sue for feces?
There's no Nazi talk.
You were the one who brought up Rolexes in cooters. I mean,
hey, that really happened.
Just tossing.
I didn't bring it up.
Well, I was really in paper underwear. What do you want me to say?
The news gods brought it up.
And much more recently than the Rolex was there. I was in paper underwear today, Farah
Be a Rolex in a cooter right now.
Somewhere in Los Angeles.
I would have to imagine it's not the first time.
Hey, lady, you got any Rolexes on you?
What time is it? Hang on.
I personally would be done with that Rolex. That would be the end of it.
What bothered me in the least?
Sleeve of
Wait, what?
Oh, come on.
Everybody's talking the same.
It wouldn't bother me in the least.
It wouldn't.
No,
Why?
I'd be happy to have it back and say you wouldn't believe where I found this.
How'd you get that allocation?
Every match tells a story.
Is there, Matt Farah, a process to make that watch, sanitize that watch?
Of course.
De-vaginaing.
It's stainless steel. It's
but what would you do? Seriously, what would you do?
What would I do? Literally what I do?
If-
Dunk it in alcohol? Dunk it in rubbing alcohol?
Yeah, then take it to the shop.
Oyster case?
dishwasher detergent.
Do you ever clean your
None of
watches?
these sound
Farah,
right.
You ever shower after
You don't
sex?
clean a watch?
Yeah, you've had sex. You still touch your penis.
I would blow on a watch and I would polish it a little bit, but no, I don't really clean
I
watches.
got a toothbrush in the closet. And I literally put toothpaste on the toothbrush, and I clean my watches with toothpaste. Like I brush my
in the
teeth.
closet. I have a Rolex in my closet, she said.
I have a toothbrush in my closet. I would love to see that video. Will you please?
Brushing my Rolex.
Yeah, with some nice music to it. Like
Why isn't
I
the
will get you a
toothbrush,
video.
which you put the toothpaste on and you have to wash off, why isn't the toothbrush by the sink?
Because I don't want anyone to accidentally put it in their mouth.
Yeah. See? And a mouth.
Because,
what's worse, a mouth or a vagina?
Previously, my mouth
much worse.
toothbrush. It's
Right.
the same
Oh,
color.
it works its way down.
Yeah.
You don't get the multicolor pack?
I definitely should.
Okay, the 2023 Prius is being hyped as gorgeous. Does it deserve the credit?
No.
Johnny Lieberman, go ahead. Start us off.
Absolutely not. It looks like a fucked up Lamborghini. It's so bad.
Johnny, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Matt.
I don't think it's gorgeous, but if you park it next to the old one, it's certainly an improvement.
It got better.
Low bar. Low bar.
Zuckerman, have you seen it?
No, thank God. No.
Not bad.
It is not bad. You're right.
bad.
And I think that's exactly the right way to think about it. If you put it next to the old one,
Are you sure
it's
just
not bad.
Or not as bad, you're
It's
saying.
not as bad.
The visibility.
And I'm a Prius fan. I like the Prius. I've
Really?
owned many of them, yes.
Ugh.
They've served our family
I'm an
well.
anti-Prius.
Me and Hannah, we were just on this road trip with my car, and someone in a boxer spider waved at me.
Right.
And it made me think of that entire episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry, this is how far we've come, where Larry gets really mad because someone in a Prius doesn't wave at him. Can you think back to a time where Priuses were so uncommon that there would be a wave?
I saw Larry on Sunset in his little black Prius, and I was blasting towards Malibu on a Porsche, and I called Jerry right away, and I go, "We got to do something about that." It looked so sad. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
Here's the new Prius, Zuckerman.
Okay, it's not as bad. It's not, but
It's not as bad.
They put
But
the
it's not
Lamborghini
gorgeous,
with
It's not
right?
gorgeous. Remember when
does.
you had
It's
the
just
first series Prius and those kids
Yeah.
harassed you?
Yes,
They
nice
called
green.
you the F word?
Yes, they called me the F-bird. I was at a stoplight on Sunset Boulevard. I was there today, that same stoplight. They rolled the window down. They were calling me, and they go, "Nice Prius, F-word." And I went, "Yeah, I'm gay for the environment." And they didn't laugh. And I felt shame. because they were like 14 years old. But I was so surprised because I guess back then there weren't many of those out there, right?
Yeah. Larry David did 30 minutes of TV about the Prius Wave that obviously doesn't exist anymore.
No, it doesn't exist. And then he got a Tesla, and then it looked better. But it just didn't look right when he was in that car. God, the guy's got $1 billion, like you said. Okay,
Right.
Next year, guess what?
What?
These cars are coming up for U.S. import.
Yes.
The 25-year
25
rule.
years.
I want to know what you guys think. There are only 10 of them.
17-year rule if you're Zuckerman.
That's right. 16. 16 to be specific.
Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 5.
Nice.
Great car.
We like that.
The first year of the regular R34 Skyline becomes legal for U.S. import.
Yeah, those are through the roof. True to roof, I tell you.
And kind of not
Nissan 180 SX Type X. Don't even know what that is.
It's the same as the 240
it's a 240.
SX, just with a smaller motor.
Worth bringing in?
I mean, if you
Only
wanna-
because there's no 240s left here.
Right.
Stock, you
Yeah,
really
yeah,
want one.
Subaru Impreza 22B.
Yes, that's a great car.
The
Actually, that's eligible for show and display already.
Really?
Yeah.
Ascari Ecos.
Yeah.
Don't
Never
know
even
what-
seen one in person.
Yeah.
Ecosi,
There was one on Top
Ecosi,
Gear
Ecosi.
once, though.
The new Fiat Multipla.
I mean, the
God.
ugliest. It's the ugliest car in the world.
It's a really weird looking van.
I know what it is. Yeah.
It's so ugly. It's
It's the
shockingly
Italian
ugly.
Mazda MPV.
But it would be kind of fun to have one, right? It wouldn't be
If you want to be
expensive.
driving a frog around town,
Yeah.
that's really what it looks like.
Here's the one I like, the Rover 75.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
The first Rover built under BMW's ownership.
Yeah. Lasted about 2 years, but yeah.
It'll fall apart. No parts.
hard-
It'll
And-
just stay in a lot somewhere at the mechanic.
Yeah. What do you have to do to those cars? Anything different? You bring them in? Do you still have to federalize them, or you can just bring them in
No,
as
you
is?
bring them in. You got to pay your 3%. You got to get them here and pay 3%.
All right.
You want to register them in California, that's a different story. You got a
boy.
bar. You got to go to bar ref.
All right.
That's going to cost you like 10 G's.
And then if you have your XXX VIN numbers,
Yeah.
But then you'll have a Nissan 180.
yeah, there's trouble.
buddy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about collecting cars, since we're talking about cars, buying cars. Live for bids right now, 2009 Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport. Wow.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Number 23 of only 58 examples. The first UK market example, finished in pearl white with black interior. 987 brake horsepower, like my Tesla Model X. Plaid? 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Same.
Slower. Slower than your
So if you
Tesla
always
SUV.
wanted to make the leap from bedroom poster to worship real-life ownership, then take a look at this Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport on collecting cars right now. What a great Christmas.
Does UK market mean right-hand drive?
Yeah.
Is it right-hand drive, Veyron?
Yeah.
Also for bids, look at this. 2018 BMW M2 Competition CSL Turbomeister. Ooh.
Wait, what?
Yeah. That's some like Euro only.
Competition has been extensively upgraded and refinished as a tribute to the 2002 Homage Turbomeister Edition concept car, which was unveiled in 2016. Communicating directly, though, with the BMW design group to make sure every detail was as accurate as possible, the seller transformed this M2 Competition into an aggressive tribute to the Jägermeister livery-inspired one-off. Tons of upgrades. Bidding ends Thursday, December 22nd at our good friends collectingcars.com, the number one sponsor of Spike's Car Radio.
Puffery.
Oh my God, there's even more ads
Straight
here.
puffery.
Well, let's do Danny O'Keefe first. Let's listen to what Danny O'Keefe had to say, and then we'll get into our Festivus fun. Danny, as you probably know, was a writer on Seinfeld last season, and loads of fun to have as a fellow writer. It was a pretty small staff at that point, and as the saying and fable goes, his dad, I believe, was bipolar and alcoholic and decided to make his own holiday instead of Christmas. So I got Danny on the phone per Zuckerman. It was a good idea, and we had a lot of fun chatting with each other, reminiscing. There are lots of new details to the Festivus story here, so listen closely. There's a book that was written about it. There's a book that he then wrote, and there are two other holidays, at least, that his dad invented in his alcoholic bipolar phase. I really love talking to Danny, and here's the interview. Dan, are you there?
I am Spike Fairston.
Wow. This is excellent. Thank you for joining us for our...
Anytime.
Did you even know that we did a Festivus Spike's Car Radio episode every year?
I knew that you were doing Spike's Car Radio. I didn't know you were bothering with the whole Festivus of it. I did not.
We have 52 shows a year to fill, so it gets down to the holiday time.
I totally get it.
We thought, hey,
desperately grasping for material.
Yeah, let's do a Festivus episode. It's turned into a lot of fun. Last year, one of our co-hosts, Matt Farah, bit through a can, I think, as a feat of strength. This year, Jonny Lieberman is going to bend a frying pan, and it's fun. And in the spirit of that, we thought we would connect with you because I get asked about it during the episode, and I'm not sure where this interview is playing in the episode. We may already be past it, but the history of Festivus. Why don't we start with that? Just the top line, because a lot's been said. There's a book. A lot's been said about your dad. But what is your first recollection? Like, how old were you when this idea came up with your father?
It predates my birth. It was originally some sort of weird celebration of my parents' first date or something even less savory. My first memory was terror. There was a lot of shouting that was in a slightly different key than normal, and a lot of strange post-war Italian and German and French folk music was playing, and there were even stranger things hung on the walls than usual, and my dad was talking to a tape recorder and making us all do the same. And hold on. We were there.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, is that a lot to process?
It's a lot to process. So you don't ever recall having a normal holiday around this time of year. There was no Hanukkah. There was no Christmas. There was no Kwanzaa. There was just this weirdness, right?
Nope. Absolutely a misconception. My dad was he trained to be a Jesuit priest and then decided that was all bullshit, and he hated that. So, no, we had Christmas every year. We had a tree every year. We even did Easter every year.
Okay.
But we additionally had this weird Festivus. And the dirty little secret is he also made up maybe half a dozen other fake holidays that I just never talked about. Yeah.
This is irresistible to me.
It's fucking, yeah. Okay.
Fake holidays like what?
Well, if he had done something particularly unforgivable and my mom was threatening to leave him, we would have an unbirthday, the title taken from the Lewis Carroll book, in which we basically got an extra shitty little birthday, to sort of offset the trauma, I suppose.
So the unbirthday was.
By
for
the way,
kids.
I want to throw back to something you said that I wrote a book. I didn't write a book. That thing is a piece of garbage. I've been buying them systematically on eBay and burning them. The only reason why that I did that, they called me, the publishing house, and offered me money, and I was like, I really don't want to have anything to do with that anymore. But then I found out that this guy who wrote an article about it was writing a book, and so I called him back, and I'm like, no, it's actually very much like that story where Jerry says he wants to do something out of spite. I was like, no, if someone's going to flog the corpse of my childhood for a few bucks, it's damn well going to be me. So I didn't want to write it. It was unpleasant writing it. It's terrible. It's the worst thing I've ever written. It's borderline illiterate. I could barely look at the computer while I was typing it. So book is a generous word.
And
anyway.
And that's the 2005 book, right? The Real Festivus, the true story behind America's favorite made-up holiday?
Yeah, and I got so lazy while doing it, and I just had such. Well, frankly, I wasn't lazy. I found it so unpleasant to revisit that rather than writing it, a lot of it is just. I just listened to the old cassette tapes that my dad made and transcribed them. So I think we transcribed 76, 79, 80, and 85. I want to say, and literally it's just recordings of my family just behaving very oddly from that year.
Oh my God!
And that took the place of actual, writing about it.
Well, look, you just made some very big news by saying there were 6 or so other holidays, one being the unbirthday that could be sprung on the family at any moment that your dad needed to get himself out of trouble to curry favor.
It's nothing weird. It's just so, his children wouldn't be taken away by the state of New York and raised in foster care. He just, gave an extra little birthday to it. It's totally normal. I'm sure you did it too, right?
It was an extra birthday. Was it called the unbirthday?
He Yeah, he named it an unbirthday.
An unbirthday, and it was an extra day to try to curry favor with the kids against.
It was damage control. It was getting ahead of it.
Okay.
It was like, oh shit! It was like I got drunk and I threw a model of the Statue of Liberty at my son's head and almost blinded him. My wife is packing the car. I think I should get him some sort of train set. That kind of shit.
And that would keep the wife happy if he bribed you with the train set.
It would maintain the status quo antebellum.
What other holidays did he have?
Some of them I honestly can't remember. I wrote them down. There was something called the Polish Hour, which wasn't really a holiday. It happened many times a year. And he instructed my mother to play a specific piece of music on the piano. And he sort of improvised a monologue in which he posited himself years in the future, looking back on this moment, which he referred to as living in the swamp, which I guess the town we lived in was very rainy. And it didn't require anything other than we sit there and listen to a lot of stream of consciousness craziness.
And what day was
it? It was Chopin's Polonaise. It was like some actual piece of music with a Polish theme, and I have no idea why it was called the Polish Hour. It veered like Festivus into a lot of discussions of the snake pit-like politics of the Reader's Digest organization.
Okay.
There's a reason, Spike, that when this got out, and I mean, Jerry was right. People seem to like it. Why I was like, no, you guys all don't get it. This is a bad idea. This is a sad, horrifying thing. We should hide this. We should not publicize it. But anyway, there you go.
So, this is, I mean, for me, this is unbelievable that there are more days. And I think for folks listening who have been celebrating Festivus and who know what it is, I mean, we always, and I think on the writer staff, Schaefer and Berg, and we delighted in other writers' pain. Like whenever a writer would bring in a painful story, me included, from your past or personal life, there's no connection to the emotions of it. It's just humorous how messed up a lot of our lives were.
Oh yeah,
and when you mentioned,
you tell me, it was not enjoyable ordering soup from the soup Nazi. It was extremely upsetting.
That's
correct?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
I was embarrassed.
When my brother Mark sold and got on the air somehow a show where Judge Reinhold played my dad. It was actually called The O'Keefes because the WB was too lazy to rename it. It was 03. He had T-shirts made for the crew, even though he knew or believed that it would not last long. And he was right. It lasted 6 episodes. And the T-shirt was purple, and for some reason it had a heraldic crest of a lizard on the front. But on the back, it said, The O'Keefes, turning pain into money, which was not only the motto of the show, but which could stand as an epigraph for comedy writing as a whole.
Comedy writers in general, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I had a dad like that who did odd things, and everybody in my town loved him, and we would just go, oh, God, if you only knew.
Irish, I'm guessing? Would that be an Irish fella?
It is an Irish fella, yes, an Irish fella. Not as nuts as your dad, but did see the world through Coke bottle glasses and made the lenses himself.
Oh, dear.
But simpler things like secondhand smoke in the car with the windows up doesn't hurt anyone, and cigarette smoke won't hurt me because I'm special. But there was a lot of it. But getting back to you. Here are the dots that I was trying to put back together in my head. I remember the moments on staff when Jeff Schaefer, who's now does Curb Your Enthusiasm among other great shows.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, he remember when he played? I don't know if you were there, but when he played his friend's answering machine message, and it became that George Costanza. I'm sorry that I'm not at home. The America's Greatest Hero.
I'm flattered that you think I was there. I wrote a freelance season 8, but I was only on staff season 9. I only caught the tail end of that.
Right.
So you were there 2 more seasons than me. So that, I believe what you're talking about was season 8, and I was
you know so much about the show.
Making of what's that name?
You know so much about the show. That's fantastic. But you're right. Yeah, I didn't know what it was. But here's the question I was getting to. What was... Where did it first come up, Festivus? Did it come up in the writer's room to the writers? Do you remember that moment? You've talked about in the past being brought to a diner with the writers, and they said, look, Jerry wants to do this as a story.
All right, you want the backstory? Here's the backstory. I was there, but I didn't know what was going on. It was one of those sort of Hollywood parties that Steve Lookner would tell us about, and then a bunch of people would go to in the hills. We were all sort of young and wearing English shirts and shit. So anyway, we were at this party, and I see Schaefer and Berg talking to Mark, my brother, and they're like laughing, and they're looking over at me, and I'm like, all right, well, he's doing his usual song and dance. I don't know. I don't need to know what that's about. Then that weekend, Dave Mandel, like they fake me out. It's like that scene in Goodfellas. We're up near. It's like, come on down, come on a little further. Let's take a look down here. So Mandel tells me to meet him at Swingers, which was a diner in Hollywood on Beverly Boulevard. Mm-hmm. And I go there, and strangely enough, it's not just Dave. Jeff and Alec are there, and Dave motions me to get into a booth. And then Jeff and Alex sliding after me, literally so I can't leave. Now, I don't think they thought I was actually going to crawl under the table, but the implication was there. And they said, I think Jeff said something like, okay, we talked to your brother Mark. What's this about Festivus now? And I think what I said was something like that motherfucker, because we sort of had a deal. We learned early, if you get on the bus to elementary school and you're like, so, we had Festivus last night. When did you have it? You get a lot of questions. So we sort of had a gentleman's agreement not to ever mention that shit again. And in fact, I had put it out of my mind. So I was like, yeah, it's, what it is? It's nothing. It's just another example of what happens when you combine alcoholism with an excess of education, which is where it came out of. And he was like, no, we want to talk about it now. So I took him through it, and I said, yeah, that's sort of what Mark said. Jerry wants to do it on the show. And I was horrified. And I was like, I think I made the following case. I don't think you understand how horrifying this is. You are executive producers on the greatest television comedy that has ever been made and ever will be made. And you're talking about putting on a holiday that was shit out of the brain of a mentally ill man and used to torment his family at irregular intervals?
Yes.
Why do you think this is a good idea? And I could not prevail upon him. They said, look, Jerry, we hear you, but we've talked to Jerry about this, and he thinks it's funny. He thinks it can work. And it was blinders, because I couldn't see past the thing in itself. And obviously the version we did, while appalling, was Frank Costanza level appalling.
Of course. I mean, you retelling it right now, I'm thinking you sound just like George. Your attitude is George Costanza upset that his dad has this holiday. That's what makes it so great. And I guess it's so unique. It's so unique and funny and unlike anything we've ever heard of. I mean, you bring up the Soup Nazi, you bring up all these great stories that Jerry did on the show, and this is one of them. I don't care what you do for the rest of your life, Dan. You're the Festivus guy, as I am the Soup Nazi guy.
Well, you did a lot of other stuff too, didn't you?
Nope, nothing. Not
the English Patient.
Not that it matters. But here is your dad still alive?
No, he's not.
Did he live to see this episode air?
He did. That was problematic. Yeah. See, I didn't know how to tell him. So I talked to my mom and my brothers, but the best way to tell him, and Mark thought it was hilarious because he had set it all in motion, and he just laughed and laughed and laughed because he thought that it would turn into another fist fight like the one Mark had with my dad when Mark broke a couple of his ribs. So, again, Irish. Yep. So I told my dad, and he didn't understand. And then he got mad. And then he started to think about it. And then the episode came out, and even before people started to celebrate it, he not only was overjoyed by it and invigorated by it, he thought retroactively it justified every weird decision he'd ever made in his life. Every time someone would call him out for, why did you, what was the rationale behind setting the car on fire? And it'd be like, well, Festivus you thought was crazy, and that seemed to turn out okay. It was. I recall that Schaefer, it was actually Berg was a heavy. He said, "Look, here's the deal. This is going on the show. It could be in your episode, or it could be in some other episode. But this is happening. This is happening to you.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay.
We have a long history of that conversation.
And look, it's not that it's not that it's Spock. It's not that I'm like ashamed of it, although I definitely am ashamed of it. It's that I don't think it's up there with the dinner party and the rye.
It's not for you to say. It's not for you to say. It occupies. Look, I always say this, and I say it as a joke, but it's not really a joke. It could be what Scientology was back in the day. Two science fiction writers competing to make up a religion in a book, and as Festivus gets bigger and bigger every year, you know, your personal pain is kind of irrelevant to the idea that we don't want a religious holiday. We want a fun one.
Oh, this is what I'm saying.
We want to get together and fun. And what's so wrong, even though it was painful when it was aimed at you, what's so wrong that your dad now and you are responsible for what will be many fun nights for many people around the world, including our little show. It was wrong.
Whoa! I always said it was open sourced as a guy who makes a living selling Festivus poles in Wisconsin. First of all, Castle Rock, I believe, owns the name.
You can do it. I can tell you, you're the father of Festivus, or the son of Festivus.
But my point is that I don't object to people doing it. In fact, the more they do it, the more it drowns out the reality. So I'm fine with that. Now, do I find it kind of nuts? Do I think it's a questionable life choice to celebrate it? Sure. But I have no problem with it. I just, it's just incredibly odd to me. The memories are what they are. And honestly, like, I think that the episode The Pothole I wrote was a lot better, the 150th.
Oh, I worked on that one.
Yeah, no, that
Andy,
was
were you in the room with me and Andy when we were breaking that story while they were shooting on stage? That was a fun night.
Because that was started off as a freelance of mine and a freelance of Steve O'Donnell's that they mushed together. And
yeah.
Because it was a production.
We were trying to. We didn't have an ending for the script, and I remember we were shooting the previous episode, and Andy and I thought you and whoever else's episode it was were locked in in Jerry's office trying to figure out an ending, and we came up with the mail truck fire and the pothole and the humanity. I
remember that. And that was your pitch, right? Didn't you pitch the fire?
I can't remember. I just remember us all being really tired and punch drunk and going eureka as if we'd struck gold. And I still wonder if we really did strike gold with it. But I saw it the other day. I just happened to be flicking around on DirecTV, and I saw that little piece, and I'm like, what is this? And it made me really happy when I saw it. I went, oh, my God, that is so fun.
I got to say, I've seen that. I have a hard time watching the Festivus episode, but I watch that one, and I think that holds up. By the way, like, it is weird how just the mind, or at least my mind, turns away from it. Like, when I was doing Silicon Valley with Berg, someone called us and they want to do an article, they want to talk to us about the strike, which of course was the title of the Festivus episode, even though everyone said later, why didn't we just call it the Festivus? And because my mind recoils from the thing, I literally thought they wanted to talk about the 2008 writers' strike and what it was like walking around. So we start talking to this guy, and he's on a speakerphone with me and Berg, talking about it, and I'm like, well, this is a lot of like small talk. When are we going to talk about the writer's strike? And the guy starts laughing at me, yeah. But I'm thrilled that if people are having a good time. Now, is it odd for me to associate a good time with that word? Well, I should say yes, but no, I have no objection to it at all.
Last question, and then we got to go, Danny.
I'm not going to be involved in it.
One more question, and then we have to go.
Yeah.
Do you today, this year, do you celebrate Festivus?
What the fuck do you think?
I would say no.
Yeah, it's a big goddamn no.
Well, thank you, Dan. Thank you for taking the time to call in here. And maybe next year we'll have you visit the set of Spike's Car Radio.
I've actually sort of stopped talking about it just because I don't know what more I can say. And I feel embarrassed wasting people's time. But, you were there. You were part of it. So, yeah, anytime, man.
I absolutely love it. And if it were me, I would be turning it into its own cottage industry. I would start a podcast. I would start merchandise. I would just turn it into money. It's just free money. Someone's going to take it.
It's blood money.
It's
blood money, Spike.
Thanks, Dan. Well, there it is. You guys didn't hear the interview, but there were two. The unbirthday, which was used to cover any sort of ugly drinking incident that happened in his family. So if he did something to his mom, he would have an unbirthday for the kids to make the kids happy. Yeah, listen to the interview. Okay. It's really out there. And then the Polish hour, which I still don't understand. He explained it. I don't understand it.
Is there kielbasa involved?
No.
What is
it just racism?
But I'm thinking about rebooting Seinfeld just to do these stories.
To do the Polish hour.
I couldn't believe
specials.
I couldn't believe he kept it from us. There were way more of these things. We would have done a season 10 had he told us about it. But awesome interview. Let's talk about Athletic Greens. Our next partner, I use literally every day. I started taking Athletic Greens, because I needed to grow. I wanted to get taller. Also, I wanted more energy, optimized immune system, hated taking pills and vitamins, wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I mean, before that, as you guys know, as I was cooking vitamin B complex in a spoon and injecting it into my blood. But no, now I have AG1. What is it? One delicious scoop of AG1. You're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole-source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All those things. Here we go.
You're taller.
And it makes you super tall. Lifestyle. Paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, keto. Doesn't matter. It costs you less than $3 a day. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews recommended by professional athletes like Reggie Watts and Spike Ferris.
Professional athletes like Reggie Watts.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and armor your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into flu and cold season. It's just one scoop every day in water. That's it. No need for a million different pills, supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. With your first purchase, all you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Spike911. Again, that's at athleticgreens/Spike911 to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. /Spike911. That's all you have to do. The COVID bet, Zuckerman.
COVID bet.
The COVID bet. Did you not bring the money? Do we have to punt this till next week?
Okay.
He's searching his pocket. Did you see him?
I saw cash on the counter. I saw cash. There is some cash.
I am still here on it. It's what day now? December
16th?
16th. Mm-hmm. I thought I was getting it a few days ago.
I was so hoping you got it.
I thought I was, and I
got
really
it in between the end of bet and payment. That would have been.
Oh, it would have been especially painful because the original bet was January 1st. Oh, here he comes with the money, ladies and gentlemen. He's got it all right here. He's got.
That's
look at that.
1,
This is
2,
very
3,
exciting.
4,
some applause here.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I saw a 1 in there. Give me my money. Oh, that's so sweet.
You too.
And yes, you owe me $2.
I'm not involved.
Spike, you got change for 100.
Wait, no, you gotta give me
$2.
No. I got it. I'm good for it.
I know. No. This would be better if I gave you the money to give.
No. Here you go. There it is.
Well, there's one guy. He's taking his money away. What are you doing? I want my money. Give it to me. I earned this money. He walked away with it.
Speaking of money exchanging hands, and you guys buy anything from Bill's going out of business sale?
We took some bacterial intestinal issues away. Yeah.
I bought something.
What'd you get?
I bought the sign.
Oh, the front sign out front?
The sign outside, the big one.
Sign. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he let that go.
Shop.
What? Can I guess what that cost?
You can guess.
$4,500.
More.
Really?
Yeah.
$8,000.
Less.
Wow. 65.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's worth it. It's a nice piece of neon.
It's beautiful. It's enormous. And it
Does
lights
he
up.
want it back if he goes back?
No. And he's stoked to have me have it. I'm hanging it at my new shop at Westside Collectors Car Storage Gardena. It's going to hang in our members lounge.
Comes the puffery and the plug.
Could you get Bill to work under it for us? I mean, would he show up to there?
I'm building a big kitchen in there. He could.
Ooh. I think why wouldn't we have a little pop-up event with Bill
should.
and baking and fun, like a little Cars and Coffee? That would be great.
I have a kitchen at my new place.
Oh, let's do that.
That'll be fun.
Why not?
But I really, when I saw it, like I just fucking wanted it, man.
Yeah, it's a great sign.
It's a beautiful sign.
Where's my money?
I'm going to give you the money. I'm going to give you the money.
Wow, this
Give
is
me the
hard
money
for
this
Zuckerman.
weekend.
This is hard for
Well,
him.
he did have
No.
We have to go Evie.
Because of my anesthesia, I left his wad in the office. So the counting was for
Do you
show.
feel comfortable? Did you leave it on your desk?
I left it in the top drawer, but nobody goes in
Nobody goes in there.
there. No one goes in there. But I was a little bit non-compass mentis when I
No,
left.
no. It's
when I
totally
left
fine.
the office.
It's totally
The
fine.
nurse wasn't like, take off your wallet and have another drink.
We're going to be doing the longest show here. We're now to the Festivus part. What?
I have to tell you one funny thing about buying this sign. So we went up there.
Yeah, how did you get it down?
Well, there's a company that's taking it down and delivering it to me, and I have to pay them extra.
Another
separate.
$6,000.
No, but it's a lot. It's not cheap to get that thing off the wall. But okay, I'm buying this sign, and Bill's, he's selling literally the pots and pans in the place. And so I'm up there with Hannah, and we're looking around, and Hannah decides that she wants this giant ladle. It's an oversized, stock pot ladle that holds 4 cups. It's got a tag on it that says $20. You think
You would think.
You think he'd throw it in? You think if I give him 6 G's
No,
for this
no
sign,
way. There's no way.
He charged me the $20.
Of course.
Oh, I like that. That commands respect.
Yeah, that-
Stanley is Stanley till the last.
Yes.
This is fantastic.
Now,
I got 3 little cupcake dishes, like little pink cupcake
Now,
dishes.
I
that
also
were $20.
stole
I was
the
gonna say-
"We do not have a bathroom" sign. It's going to be framed and hanging in my office. And I also stole the Malibu Country Mart parking only sign.
Ah,
The
oh,
fucking
that's good.
box
That's
from your
great.
Parking
Awesome.
space.
I was going to say, we were going to talk about what Vinny was doing the whole
That's
time.
yeah. We're up there distracted people, and Vinny's got an LED fucking taking the sign out.
Nice.
It was good. He did it in broad daylight.
Yes,
or in
it's
front
so
of
good.
everybody.
Threw it in the trunk of the yellow SL.
I have to say, I'm excited to see where Bill ends up, where we
Yeah.
go next. You know, I'm done with that lot. I'm tired of my cars getting dinged. It was starting to get really uncomfortable.
And the birds.
And the birds. I got hit on the very last night with Jerry. We got hit.
Oh.
You know, just it striates
It's
as it goes through
poetic
the
justice for
Yeah.
for everything else.
Stanley Birds and Stanley.
leaves. Yeah, but I will say, there's there's this hole, tomorrow morning or Sunday
Where are we
morning.
gonna fucking go?
And will we get
I know
another-
you just even when these press cars come, like, oh, it's going to be a great weekend. Where am I driving?
What am I gonna do?
Where am I driving?
Shit.
Let's hope we get another 22 years out of the next place.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. We'll find a way. We'll do something. All right, Zuckerman,
Sorry,
this is
back
your
to your
moment.
I didn't mean to
airing of
hijack. I
grievances.
thought that
No,
was
that's
funny.
fine. We're going to do an extra long Festivus show tonight.
I'm gonna
but
air it-
we're at the point of the airing of the grievances.
I'm going to air my grievances
I don't like you
against
people.
3.
Please.
Okay.
Start with Matt Farah.
No. It's all the same.
Oh.
But it's variations of the same. And I'm not saying I don't suffer the same thing. But if there's anything that I hate about you guys
Hate.
and myself,
Yes.
we're all such fucking know-it-alls. Sometimes listening
This
to
is
the
true.
fucking 3 of you, and if I had to really slice out how you guys are different know-it-alls.
So funny.
Matt, you are like the fucking rabbi know-it-all.
Look,
You're
I-
on the dais, and you're making your pronouncements, and you're telling us what the fucking truth of the gospel is, or the Bible, or the Torah, or whatever it is.
Baruch
Yes.
Hashem.
Yes, and then Lieberman
Yes.
is a little different.
Okay.
He's kind of like the Talmud scholar. So he's got all of the fucking little details, and he's going to tell you something. It's not to say that either him or Matt know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yes.
That's the other part about being a know-it-all.
Yes.
You know, Lieberman can tell you all the little details and all the little facts and all the little things, and the battery heats up and all this other shit. It may or may not be true. Nobody knows.
Nobody cares.
And nobody cares.
The listeners know. They write to us all the time about it, but we don't care.
These are the two guys that I kind of grew up with that you'd see once a year at the Seder that were having arcane debates with each other that we just listened
Yes,
to when they were talking
yes,
about these
yes.
cars. You have a slightly peculiar way of
Yes.
being a know-it-all.
Yes.
And here's where I know you're going to really, I'm going to hear it when you say, I figured it out. That's your line.
That's my tell?
That's your tell.
I figured it out.
I figured it out. Listen to me. I figured this out, Zuckerman. And this is how, or this is how it works. And then you make some bizarre analogy to me, and then you explain it to me. And
yes.
And that. It was a strange analogy that you probably got from your dad, Fats. No,
I make up my own. I never use the Fats.
No, but I think that you maybe got this from him. Hey, it's like this, or I saw it here.
Probably.
Yeah, and so you'll tell me something, and you'll make an analogy, and you are convinced you're right. And when you're in that mood,
you're right. I can't be shaken out of it.
And then you can't be shaken.
I can't be shaken out of it.
And if you're in some sort of pathological state where you're not in your right mind, and you're telling me what you figured out, it's
good, right? I've often wondered about that state. I think about that state every once in a while.
You're definitely unhinged.
Because in a creative space, when you're writing and you're doing it, your imagination clicks into it, and you get into a flow state sometimes.
Well, we saw
that serves you when you're writing,
right?
But the outside,
when you're lecturing somebody, like it can be much. So,
and what kind of know-it-all are you?
Oh, I'll tell you.
And analyze yourself.
I was always a kid who was long on mouth and short on stature. I can pretty much convincingly say anything, whether that's my stock in trade. I'm going to say it.
That's true.
Yeah. And I can even cherry pick some little data points and facts, and
that's what you do.
And then cobble together an argument that then annoys you in particular.
I'm always, I will say, impressed when I know you're dead wrong. I'm impressed with what you can conjure up.
Yes.
Porsche. That's how it's pronounced. Like you did a really good job of trying to convince me that was correct. It didn't work, but it's why you're a lawyer.
Right.
That's why you're a lawyer.
I think that's the funny thing about it. And that we're having a good time because we could be all of the four of us insufferable know-it-all.
Yeah.
Horrible know-it-all.
Yeah, we should just carve this up into quarters and start.
That's why I always say the name of the show should be "Seldom Right but Never in Doubt." Because here we go. Got a lot of bullshit.
What, Johnny? Go ahead. He's jumping in.
I was just going to say, back to your insult of Spike went last week with the false self-driving, where you're like, I tried to launch into a gate, into a security.
No, it did try to drive through it.
So I tried to drive through a gate, and Zuckerman was see, and you're like, no, I don't care. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I'm arguing my affection for this.
I know,
but I love
it
as
fact.
You
arguing it as fact.
I wasn't
hit a gate.
No, I did.
Yes, you were.
I was not.
Here he goes. Yes, it's dangerous. I still want it.
Yeah. That's exactly right. The same way I ride motorcycles in the desert, and that's not exactly.
So that's just my Festivus gift to you.
I loved it. Thank you. I thought that was very good.
I think we can't top that.
Well, we only have 1 feat of strength tonight, and it's been long talked about. 7 days. I still don't understand it, but Johnny Lieberman last week said for the Festivus feats of strength he would bend a frying pan.
But he needed to practice, which means there's hundreds of frying pans that are in various states.
I said I'm
like in the Prestige with all the cats littered outside his house.
I said I would have to get strong, which I failed to do this week. So I can try the frying pan, but never before in my life.
So wait, you thought you were going to get strong this week? What does that mean?
It's just reactivating old muscles,
muscle memory for doing something you've never done.
The neural pathways. No, but
you can do it in a week. You just to reactivate
it's
them.
Grip strength. If I train, I have very good grip strength.
Are there people on the internet who bend frying pans?
Yeah, of course. Okay. It's a standard strongman.
Do you have a frying pan?
I have a frying pan.
First, tell us what this
is.
Talking
about here.
It's lightweight Teflon.
It's a frying pan. Here, Matt, will you examine the frying pan?
Okay, ain't a lake from fucking set.
Matt, just tell him what the frying pan is and how big it is.
It is a
12-inch.
Is it a 12-inch? Sure, okay.
10, 12.
I was going to go with maybe a 10 or 11-inch, and it is very, very cheap.
Cheap shit.
And what are you exactly saying? You're gonna
roll it into a tube,
and then we're gonna snort coke out of it.
You're gonna roll the pan part into a tube?
Yeah, that's the idea.
I'm gonna stand back. All right. Here we go.
All right, hang on.
I mean, look.
Where are you going to do this?
Works,
I don't want this to break off and hit me.
It's never working.
Oh, wait. Wow.
He has moved it.
He has bent it.
He has definitely bent it a little bit.
This is remarkable.
I mean, I'll tell you something.
Wow,
Like a
that's
dried
not
up
bad.
tortilla. It's
Look,
not a
I
joke.
say, honestly, I say count it. I say count it.
Yeah, I think we have to give that to him.
I say count it.
Well
Now,
done,
can we-
Jonny
let's
Lieberman.
fucking make some
Well
notes of this
done.
thing. Look at that. I mean, look, he actually,
He's done it.
actually
He's
bent
done it.
in 2 dimensions.
How crippled are you?
Incredible.
My
He's
left
made-
arm no longer
He's
works.
made it into like a highlight scoop.
Are you? I didn't think it was possible. Can I touch that? It's a little thin. This frying pan's a little thin,
But
but
look, it's not like we're bending.
But you
better
did it,
frying
Jonny.
pan. But
my
you actually
we're
left
very
hand
impressed.
is really in a lot of pain.
He just break his own.
I need to
hand
go to the
trying
hospital.
Well,
You need to go to the hospital.
that is our Festivus show, gentlemen.
Zuckerman, give me some pills.
It's been a very extra long Festivus show for all of you. I love you guys. Thank you for coming back and doing the Festivus episode. Matt Farah, Jonny Lieberman, and of course Zuckerman. And we love you guys at home. Have a great Festivus yourself, and we'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio, brought to you by Hangar 56. Listen to new episodes every Wednesday, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
You love podcasts, the stories, the laughs, the unexpected turns. But when this episode ends, the silence starts. Not anymore. Audiobooks.com turns that silence into your next great adventure. With over 450,000 titles, from bestsellers to hidden gems, your love for listening just found its new best friend. And because you already know the joy of audio, we're giving you 3 free audiobooks to start your journey. Imagine your favorite podcast, now with unlimited episodes. That's audiobooks.com. Keep the story going. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. Because for podcast lovers like you, the end of an episode is just the beginning. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.